My name is Angelina Brotherhood. I'm a public health researcher at the Centre for Public Health at Liverpool John Moores University in the United Kingdom. I've been involved in this project from the very beginning, and in the second phase I've been working on a number of toolkits, and I'm now going to talk about the adaptation guidelines that we've developed. We developed adaptation guidelines. They are for people who would like to promote the EDPQS or who would like to translate the EDPQS or disseminate them to a wider audience. So the toolkit gives you advice on how to do that. What should you consider when you're translating the standards? Because a straightforward translation is often not appropriate. What should you keep in mind when you're adapting them? What kind of changes can you make? And what are the best ways to promote the EDPQS? The toolkit was developed primarily by LJMU, but in close collaboration with people in the partnership who have experience of translating the standards or adapting the standards. The toolkit was actually inspired by our Swedish associate partners because they undertook a big adaptation process in Sweden, and they initially just wanted to translate the standards and then realized that that's not enough, but they really need to undertake a formal adaptation of them. And this was very interesting for us to follow this process and to learn from it. And then we thought that we want to put this in writing so that other people can learn from the Swedish experience, as well as other examples. So then we contacted other people within the partnership and also outside of the partnership who've done similar things. And we asked them what their experiences were, what the benefits were of working with EDPQS, what challenges they faced in the adaptation process or in the translation, and kind of trying to extract the lessons learned so that other people can benefit from their experiences.
How was it developed? Briefly describe what kind of stakeholder consultation took place.
Okay. So the key part of this, of the development process behind these adaptation guidelines was interviews with these people who had already used the standards in these ways. So, for example, I already mentioned the Swedish colleagues, but there were also colleagues, for example, in Great Britain who have used, or in England, who've used the standards to develop quality standards for schools in England. So we had interviews with these people trying to find out more about how they went about it, and also asking them to complete a questionnaire which helped us with a more systematic data collection.
What does the toolkit look like?
So what you will find in this adaptation toolkit is first of all a top tips document which just summarizes the key messages. So if you just want to translate the standards, or if you're thinking about adaptation, this summary can give you an initial idea about the kind of things you might consider and also to help you make that decision. If you decide that you want to go ahead with this, then I'd recommend that you look at the more in-depth document, which gives you kind of step-by-step process of how to go through the adaptation. So you will find information there about how to plan the adaptation, what kind of adaptation you want to undertake, and we've included translation in the definition of adaptation, because a translation is always also an adaptation. You will find information about what kind of changes are possible or are recommended or not recommended. And then there's also a bit about what to do after the adaptation, how to disseminate the products that you've produced, and we're drawing there on some scientific literature about the best ways to get people to use your materials. And my favorite part of the toolkit is a document which is called Example Project. And I was mentioning before all these stakeholder consultations that we'd undertaken. So in this document you will find the phases of the EDPQS implementation. So it's introducing these projects. Who are these people? Why did they adapt the standards? What was the process? What kind of changes did they make? And also what I'm really pleased about is that all of these people agreed to give their contact details. So if you're interested to find out more about how they went about it, if you would like to consult with them, you can contact these people.